Everyone's chasing the same saturated products to sell on Amazon, and they're fighting over scraps. But while they're busy scanning the obvious, real opportunities are hiding in plain sight. In this video, I'm pulling back the curtain on 5 hidden arbitrage plays that 99% of sellers overlook. These aren't just theory, they're real, repeatable strategies you can use right now to find products with zero competition and maximum margin. And the last one I'm going to share, it might just mess with your brain a little bit, because it goes against the advice that most Amazon gurus will give you. So if you're tired of sourcing like everybody else and ready to outsmart the crowd, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first strategy involves something that you may be familiar with if you've been selling on Amazon for any period of time, and that is dangerous goods or hazardous materials. So if you've not sold on Amazon before, you wouldn't necessarily know that there are some products that Amazon classify as hazmat or dangerous goods. These are products that are typically potentially flammable or could explode under certain conditions, those types of things. And so if you are sending your products into Amazon's FBA service, Fulfillment by Amazon, and having them store the products in their warehouse, you need to be in what's known as the dangerous goods program. Now, the reason these are great opportunities and they're products with zero competition and they have potentially big margins is because the competition on them is so low, and that's because there is a barrier to entry. Like I said, you have to be in the dangerous goods program. So products like this, beauty products, cosmetics, so you got things like perfumes, colognes, aftershaves, stuff like that. Products that are alcohol based, they are potentially flammable. Compressed aerosol cans, things like that. These are high sales volume products. They're very, very popular, and they're mostly consumable products that people use again and again and again, and so they have huge upside when it comes to selling them. But of course, because of the barrier to entry to get access to the dangerous goods program, a lot of sellers choose to ignore them entirely. But right now in 2025, I'm recording this video July of 2025, Amazon are allowing people into the dangerous goods program very, very easily. Previously, it's taken months, even years for some people to get approved. But if you apply right now, there's a great chance you can get access in a number of days. It's completely free to apply, and you can do it through your Seller Central account in the help section. You can look that up on Google on how to do that, but we want to talk about the products here. So this particular product, right, this is a 4-pack of different cosmetic products. We can get it for $209 down from $264, and they actually have a welcome discount. If you've not shopped with the store before, you can get a 25% discount with coupon. I think it's welcome 25, and that brings the price down somewhere in the region of $150. So here we have it. The same product over on Amazon right now is selling for $247.91. So on that basis, we have our buy price with the coupon code at $156.73. So you can see that using Buybot Pro as a profit calculator, we can see that our profit would be $47.89. Now this thing's selling some pretty consistent volume. You got 100 plus units in the last 30 days, and actually if we comb back a bit further, May it did 596 units. So it's selling pretty well, and already in July 76 units. So what makes these products interesting? What makes them worthy of being considered a hidden opportunity? Well, if you just scroll down to, in the Buybot Pro, we're able to see our competition, how many other people are selling this product right now. If we scroll down, there are just 3 sellers. 2 of them are FBA sellers, so these guys are in the know, they know what they're at. $247.91 as we've seen, and $249. Then we have an FBM seller. So if you see any competition on most hazmat or dangerous goods products, you will tend to see it being primarily FBM sellers. But if you're following the advice that we give here at Marketplace Superheroes, you'll be using FBA, and it will get you the lion's share of the buy box. You'll make more sales than anybody who is doing FBM, and that's just down to the nature of the way the algorithm works. But with this, you can see just by getting access to the dangerous goods program and being able to sell products like this that are considered hazmat and dangerous goods by Amazon, you get yourself into products that have enormously low competition and huge upside when it comes to margins. This has got a lovely 30% ROI, but more importantly, a very nice chunk of profit at $47.89. So the first strategy here is to look for dangerous goods and hazmat products and get yourself into the dangerous good program so that you can sell products that the vast majority of your competition simply cannot sell as FBA sellers. Right, so strategy number 2 is to find products like this that are flagging up on tools like Buybot Pro as being on the, what they call, Buybot Pro call it the IP radar. But what this means is that this product or this brand has been known to make intellectual property violation claims at some point in the past. Now, this is a manually updated database, particularly with Buybot Pro. I can't speak for other tools because I've not had a huge amount of experience with them, but you've got tools like SellerAmp that have a similar kind of system for regulating whether or not a brand is likely to make an IP claim. but that just means that at some point historically the brand has made a claim. Now, just because they've done it once before doesn't mean they're going to do it again. And in fact, myself, I've been selling HP products for many years and I've never had an issue. And the way we can tell actually is to go back on this chart here that loads up, again using Buybot Pro, on it's called offers and reviews. We're not interested in the reviews or the ratings. All we're interested in is this metric here, new offer count. And if we look back over the history of the product, which is about, what, we've got like 5 years here, I think, for what would be a red flag is if during any particular time on a day, the number of sellers went down to 1. If it went down to 1 in a single day or 0, that's not good news. Gradual fall-offs like this here, these are not cause for concern. Even these sort of drops here, it's a quick recovery. So this is not an IP claim. This is likely a brand getting gated, and then all these people got ungated a few days later. But what we're looking for as a red flag is a straight line all the way down to 1 or 0, because what that tells us is that the brand has made an intellectual property violation claim. So we got like 5 years worth of history here, and we cannot see any evidence to support the fact that this brand has made an IP claim in the past. And so it's something that these other smart sellers also know, everybody here, but you can see there's not really a huge amount in terms of competition when it comes to FBA sellers. We've got 2, and Amazon themselves. And this has an enormous upside when it comes to potential profit and ROI. So we can actually buy this for $149.99. Sounds too good to be true, right? But I'll prove it to you, because over here on Woot.com we can buy this exact product for $149.99. There is a limit of 10 per customer, but I don't know about you, that would be plenty enough for me, because we'd make a cool just under $2,000 in profit. It's selling 51 units a month, so we've got plenty of scope here for profit. And like I said, the competition is, as far as FBA sellers is concerned, because these are the only ones I'm really concerned about, Amazon themselves here, these other 2 FBA sellers, those are the people that are giving me stiff competition. Anybody else, they're not really going to be taken, they're not going to be looked at in the same way. So a product like this with an IP radar, many people would tell you to avoid it because it's on the IP radar. The brand has made a claim before. But if I can't see any history of it happening in the last 6 months, then it's significantly lower risk. And I'm looking at these products asking myself, how quickly can I turn them around? Do I think I can turn them around in the next 30, 60, 90 days? If the answer is yes, then I'm absolutely going to purchase them. Because at the end of the day, any brand is open to risk of an intellectual property violation claim. You cannot protect yourself from it entirely. What we can do is maintain a good standing with Amazon and try to mitigate the risk as much as we possibly can by reading into the data. So this is another one of my strategies for finding products that most other people would ignore. Lots of people would look at this and they would move on. So strategy number 2 is to find products on the IP radar or with brands that have previously made IP claims but not recently. Okay, on to strategy number 3. And this is one that, I don't know, you might be in one of 2 different camps for, and that is oversized products. Oversized products are typically ignored by most sellers because honestly they're a little bit inconvenient, and I'll hold my hands up and say that if I'm doing my own prep, I avoid oversized products too, and that's just because they're typically bigger than your average, I don't know, small product like this one here. Like this little cosmetic item, I can fit 100 of those into a box, no problem. But with something like this is a lightsaber toy, so it's pretty big. So if you're unfamiliar with Amazon and you're brand new, just getting started, oversized items are those where the longest side is over 19 inches long. And the reason for that is because your average fulfillment center where these products get sent to when they're stored for FBA has a conveyor belt, and the products go into these containers on the conveyor belt, and the containers are only up to 19 inches long. And so if the product's bigger than that, it will fall out, it will, come out of the container, and it will be unsafe on the conveyor belt. So there are dedicated fulfillment centers that have hardware and technology in them that can accommodate these larger products, but with that comes more fees, additional Amazon fulfillment fees and all that good stuff. The majority of sellers will ignore these products because they're inconvenient, they have higher fees. But herein lies an opportunity, because if everyone else is avoiding them, it means that there is less competition. So if we just go take a look at the competition for this particular product, you can see there is only one FBA seller, and they're quite a bit more expensive, and the lowest one is $261. We could buy this. It has since sold out for this example, but it was over here on Entertainment Earth, and we could have bought it for $153.23. So I've got the sell price programmed in here at $254.98, which is actually lower than the lowest price, $261. But even with that lower price, we could make a profit of $50.75, which is a 33% return on our original investment. So with a product like this, you can see most people would ignore it. Most sellers would turn a blind eye and say, do you know what? this is not a product for me, it's too big, I'm not going to get involved. But that is where the opportunity is. Again, a barrier to entry, a reason not to invest for someone else is a reason for you to invest and go after these low competition products. So that takes me on to strategy number 4, which is to look for low sales volume products. Now, this is a controversial one. I've been questioned on this a number of times, but I stand my ground on it, and I'll tell you why. So this product is an example of a low sales volume product. It's only sold a few here in the last 30 days, sold 8 in June, 9 in May. And again, this would be something that a lot of sellers would say, there is not enough sales volume here for me to enter this investment. And that's a big mistake, because you don't need, when you're doing online arbitrage, you do not need products that are selling hundreds of units per month. I speak to many first-time beginners, and we'll talk about their challenges and their obstacles. And one of the big things that people will tell me over and over again is, Josh, I just cannot find products with enough sales volume. Everything I find has only got 5, 10, 15, 20 sales per month. And I'll ask them, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with 5 sales, 10 sales, 15, 20 sales per month? And they say, well, it's not selling quick enough. I'm not going to sell out my inventory fast enough. But when you look into it, when you pull back the curtain and look a little bit deeper into these opportunities, you'll see one of a few different things. Number 1, low competition, because most people are seeing the same thing and they're saying to themselves, no, I'm not going to go for this product because it's not selling enough volume. But when you're doing online arbitrage, you typically only buy 3 to 5 units anyway. At least that's what we recommend, especially if it's a first-time investment. You're buying this product for the first time. We test it out with just a few units. So let me ask you, if you're only buying 3 to 5 units, why do you need the sales volume to be hundreds per month? You don't. You only need 5, 10, 15 sales per month in order to sell out your inventory with a low competition product like this in as little as 30 to 60 days, which is perfectly acceptable in this world of online arbitrage. So with this, all right, it's sold 2 units in the last, 30 days here, but it's projected to sell 20 over the next 90. So that's 6 point something sales per month. I know you can't get 6 point something, but you know what I'm saying. Divide that 20 up by 3 and you've got about a decimal point 6 something. Anyway, with one FBA seller as our competition, we could quite easily slide in at match this price here of 261, get the buy box and get the sales and sell out an inventory base of 3 to 5 units in the next 30 days. So, and that's the reason I say strategy number 4 is to find low competition products and confidently invest in them. And that's because 99% of your competition is doing the complete opposite. And the 5th and final strategy, which I did say might mess with your brain a little bit, is this. And that is to buy products or search for products specifically that show that Amazon is not sharing the buy box. Bear with me, I will explain. So tools like BuyBot Pro, they interpret data from Keeper. If you're not familiar with Keeper, it's one of the biggest Amazon data aggregators. It feeds into tools like this so that they can represent the data and give it to you in a way where you can make informed buying decisions. But sometimes this data is taken on face value and is not looked into in enough detail. I say sometimes, most of the time. So with a metric like this here, so BuyBot Pro has what they call alerts. And the alerts, if I just zoom in a little, we can see there's a series of different alerts that we have: Meltable, IP Radar, Oversized, Buy Box, and variations. So many people will see this red light here on Buy Box analysis. And what they will read into immediately with that, or what they will believe that it says, is that Amazon is dominating the Buy Box. They are hogging it, they're not sharing it with you, and therefore you will not sell this product. And they just walk away from it. They totally ignore it. And let me tell you why that is a huge mistake. Because if you were to pull the curtain back on this, look a little bit deeper into the opportunity on a tool like BuyBot Pro, there is a feature where, let me find it here, there we go, Buy Box statistics. So we can look over the last 30 days, the last 90 days, the last 180 days, and see how many other sellers have won the Buy Box and what percentage of the time over a given period. So in the last 30 days, Amazon has indeed won the Buy Box 87% of the time. But this seller here has won the Buy Box 13% of the time. So whilst this light gives you the impression that Amazon is dominating, hogging, does not share the Buy Box whatsoever, it's not actually true. Amazon may keep the majority of the Buy Box, which means the majority of the time they will get the lion's share of the sales. However, like in the previous point where I talked about low sales volume products, if you've bought only 3 to 5 units, you only need to be in the Buy Box a very small percentage of the time. So a lot of these things combined may not work well together, but individually, independently, you wouldn't want a low sales volume product where Amazon is only sharing the buy box a fraction of the time, because of course that way you're not going to get many of the sales. But if it's a product that's selling reasonable sales volume, like this one here, it's selling 26 in June, 42 in May, 38 in April. It's got plenty of sales volume to accommodate us. If we got 10% of the buy box, well, we got 10% of the sales, we've got 3 to 5 units, we'd still be sold out within 30 to 60 days. Don't ignore the red light entirely. Definitely look into it in more data, but use data points like BuyBot Pro's buy box statistics to see if Amazon is sharing the buy box with other sellers. And look, if you see no one else on there, I'll tell you the reason for it. Because in my opinion, I've been selling on Amazon since 2013, and I've done lots and lots of experiments with this for my own products, purchasing products where Amazon were the only seller. And of course, if Amazon are the only seller, it's going to show this red light. So if nobody sold it, nobody's come up against Amazon for the last 90 days, or Amazon are selling it for $50 and everybody else is $100 plus, they're not going to share the buy box with those other sellers because they're not within competing range. They're not competitive enough to have the buy box shared with them. So if we were to look back far enough, I guarantee you will find evidence of Amazon having shared the buy box with sellers who meet the criteria to have the buy box shared with them. And that is using Amazon FBA and being competitively priced. So within 10% of Amazon's price is typically what I would call competing range. So do not ignore these products. They are absolutely some of the best products you could purchase, because as you have seen, virtually nobody else is selling them because they think that Amazon is going to dominate the buy box and not share any of the sales with them, which is completely false. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, leave any questions in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe to see more videos just like this. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.